I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Committee of the Whole meeting of Pottstown Borough Council for November 7, 2018. Shh. This better?
Yeah.
Working?
That's because people was talking.
Hello? All right, I'm calling to order the November 7, 2018 Committee of the Whole Council meeting. Would you kindly rise for a moment of silence, followed by a pledge to the flag. Okay, starting with something good, how about a presentation of our Employee Service Awards?
All right, the Years of Service Initiative Awards presentation. This will be for recognition of duration of service for some of our employees. This initiative aims to recognize individual employees for consecutive years of service to the Borough of Pottstown. Years of service are recognized individually every 5 years, beginning with 5 years of service and continuing through onto retirement. Employees eligible for loyalty recognition must be full-time, non-uniform employees of the Borough of Pottstown, employed continuously with the Borough. This recognition will occur annually each November. Tonight, we are recognizing 10 employees, which represents over 95 years of service to the Borough of Pottstown.
Wonderful.
Oh, wow.
All right, if you're in attendance tonight, you're welcome to come up. Tom Troutman.
Excellent. Yes, please. Thank you.
Marley Boone. Natalie Sassman.
And you announce the rest that aren't able to join us tonight.
Also not able to join us tonight, David Evans. Michael Lenhart. Andrew Aaron Becker. And Jason Call. And then 15, those qualifying for 15 years of service, Gary Micah. And another 15-year service member, Bobby Humber. And 25 years of service, Brent Wagner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, subcommittee reports. Infrastructure. Vice President Cope.
We had an interesting meeting. For our public works, Doug was saying King and Manatoni is almost done with the lights, Shoemaker 100, the control cabinets are in. The gas company is putting in gas lines from Hanover and south to north to Wilson, and down Wilson to Farmington, and from Farmington to Hanover, supplying existing system. When's that supposed to start, Doug?
Spring of next year.
Spring of next year, okay. And Pico from Madison to High, replacing all conduit lines and replacing all sidewalks. Sewer cleaning, camera work, and they're checking the piping. Licensing inspection. Commerce Company bought the roller mills, and they're talking about renovating it. South Hanover Street, the old firehouse has been bought. Possible renovation, maybe. Ellis Mills is moving forward, and the brick house is possibly a new chef, and it'll be approximately 2 years, and that's my report.
Very good. Thank you. Economic Development, Peggy Lee Clark.
Good evening. Sounds like infrastructure just gave economic development report.
Sorry.
That's okay. All of that is true. Just wanted to give you an update that we have received the federal guidelines for the qualified opportunity zones. You may remember that we have been designated. We have 3 that are designated, and 1 is right in the downtown area. And because of the really positive conditions that those QOZs create for investors that want to come in and invest into a fund, they can be private investment funds. As far as we can tell, they are going to be extremely liberal with the guidelines because the Treasury Department wants this to be accessed. They really want to create economic development in QOZ areas. We do know that capital gains, if anybody stays in for the full 10 years, will receive 15% of deferment. So if somebody has stock that they have sold for $1 million, if they stay in for the 10 years, they only pay capital gains on $850,000, and they are deferred. It is deferred payment. So that's quite an incentive, and with that in mind, we have identified the 3rd floor of 159 East High Street. PAID is actively engaged with a private developer to develop a life sciences incubator hub on the 3rd floor in that building. It is where BB&T is and Cedarville. There's been full remediation of asbestos already on the 3rd, 4th, and 5th floor. Cedarville's on the 5th floor. So we are actively pursuing this, and we are already going out to look for design bid.
Great.
That's my report.
Thank you. Transportation, Vice President Cole.
No meeting.
Well, I have you, Councilor Kirkland, the Ad hoc Financial Sustainability Oversight Committee.
We did meet with the consultant, called eConsult. We met with them and discussed the project scope.
Mm-hmm.
We went over, what they perceive to be what their responsibilities are, and we either agree with that or gave them more directive as to what we expected. One thing I wanted to give them as far as scope or as far as reach is I wanted to let them know that I didn't want them to feel their hands were tied. I wanted them to feel as though, they could look anywhere and pursue any angle that they needed to in order to save the borough money. And I made that clear to them. I wanted them to make sure that they felt their hands were not tied and they could look anywhere for anything. They're going to be releasing the report in phases. And the first phase, which pretty much is the base data, will be released sometime in late November. Is that right?
Correct.
Late November. And then at which time we will release that information. It will be released as they bring forth the different phases. And that's my report.
Very good. Anything else to add?
No, I mean, just that they're on schedule for the project. They expect to finish up sometime in the March or April timeframe. There'll be a series of I think 4 different components of that report that they'll be updating the committee on as they complete drafts of each one of those sections. So.
Okay, great. Boards and committees, emergency services reports. Any? Mr. Feather?
Good evening, Council. I have my voice back fully last month. For the month of October, the Phillies ran a total of 88 calls, and that included a standby with Norco when they had a rather large fire just recently. Fire Prevention Month, we attended the displays at Home Depot and the annual one at the Norco over at the mall. We also participated in the Halloween parades, both at Pottstown and Boyertown, and we provided lighting at both Pottstown parade and the, I don't remember the name, is it Safe Halloween or whatever it was down there at the York and Beach. They have it in the parking lot. We had our truck down there providing lights. We have a junior firefighter, Evan Gable, has completed his interior firefighting class as well as the live burn at Montgomery County Fire Academy, and is now on to the written and practical certification of testing. So as soon as he's done that and passes, he will be a Pennsylvania State certified firefighter.
Wow.
Let's see. We also have our annual Chinese auction is coming up Friday, November 30th. A lot of good stuff there. It's be at the Goodwill Fire Company. Doors will open at 6 p.m. and that's located at 714 High Street for nobody that knows. It's a family-friendly event for all ages. Lots of things that kids really like going around and putting everything into the little baskets with mom and dad. Other events in the planning for 2019 is our annual beef and beer in the spring. That we don't have a venue nailed down for that yet, but we will probably by next meeting. Easter flowers, as always, they will be coming up around Easter time. We're going to start doing our hoagie sales again. We have an event coming up for the wives and girlfriends, is Purse Bingo, and I believe we're going to be holding that over at the Coventry Mall. They're giving us space over there. And then we can't let the gentlemen out. We're going to have a sportsman's bingo, which will have a variety of hunting rifles and archery stuff, things of that nature. And then we're also working on, starting in January, we're going to start working on bringing back our annual golf tournament, which we had to skip last year. So it was unfortunate, but that's all I have for the report for this month. I believe the department is out on a call, and that's why Chief Yerger is not here.
Okay. Thank you. Human Relations Commission. Ms. Levengood?
Good evening, counselors. The Human Relations Commission has a vacancy. So if anyone's interested in serving on the commission, you can email a letter of interest and a resume to hrc@pottstown.org. And the commission will meet next Wednesday, November 14th, at 6 o'clock here in council meeting room. And then at 6:30, we are hosting a community information session, and that's being presented by a representative of the Pennsylvania Human Relations Commission. The topics that are going to be covered are going to be bullying, service/therapy animals, diversity, inclusion, and sensitivity. The informational session is provided at no charge by the state. So it's a free program, and everyone's welcome to attend. Okay.
Thank you. Land Bank report, Ms. Penrod? Anyone for the Land Bank? Library? Anyone? Okay. Olivet Boys and Girls Club, Counselor Kirkland.
I believe the director is here, if I can just give you the report.
Okay.
Thank you, counselors. I just want to stress for those who are unfamiliar with us, whether in the audience or viewing on television, that we do provide a great after-school program for kids ages 5 to 18. It's only a $15 fee for the entire year. The kids can attend every day after school. We're also open on in-service days and on days in which the school lets out early for early dismissal. Lots of great new programs this year. We started a community service club for 11 to 13-year-old kids, in which the kids themselves actually spearhead the projects with the help of the staff. They've begun doing some great projects around the community, and we look forward to some more great work. We're running a financial literacy program for kids that we're really excited about, in which we teach the kids basic financial concepts. We continue giving the kids daily homework help, and starting in January, we're going to be able to offer them more low-ratio one-on-one tutoring, and we're really excited about that. Also wanted to mention that our weight room, which is open for adults, that has the same membership fee, $15 for the whole year, has added evening hours, so now we're open 6 to 8 on Mondays and Wednesdays for adults in the weight room, and that's in addition to the regular hours that we've had before and the boot camp, which runs twice a week from 7 to 8 p.m. Also, finally wanted to mention that we have a seminar tomorrow evening about college funding for parents of our club members and any parents in the community who would like to attend. A financial advisor from Prudential will be there to give them tips and some strategies about saving for college for their kids. Thank you.
Great, thanks. Pottstown School District, Counselor Lindsay.
I guess I can elaborate a little more at the end of the visit that I had with Superintendent Rodriguez. So, but I didn't attend any meetings this last month.
All right, very good. Okay, Mayor's report.
So the mayor wasn't able to be here tonight due to a work emergency, but she just wanted me to relay to all of you a great big round of applause and thank you to our police department and first responders for the quick response and protection during the storm on Friday. I'll also add, big thanks to our streets department and borough staff as well for getting out there to clear some of those trees that were down.
Very good. Thank you. And how about manager's report?
So the Route 100 closure for the Norfolk Southern or the Colbrookdale crossing was postponed this past weekend due to the bad weather. So that is actually going to take place now this Friday, starting at 9 p.m. until 6 a.m. on Monday morning. Detours are already posted and in place, so if you can, try to avoid the area this weekend. Otherwise, follow the posted detours. Also recently got word that the Schuylkill River Trail will be completed on Industrial Highway sometime in late November. That is the last remaining segment there where they're working around the railroad tracks. There will be a closure of Industrial Highway for a 3-day period. We don't have those dates yet, but we'll get them out to you as soon as we have them. We're currently reviewing their detour plan with our police department. And also, I'm just happy to report that we got our final assessment numbers in for the year for 2018, and assessments only dropped $1 million. That's out of the total 760-some assessed value, million in assessed value for the borough in total. That's a different trend than what we've been seeing before. I think last year we experienced a 22 million drop in assessed values, primarily due to the condition of Pottstown Hospital being ranked as a tax-exempt property. And that's all that I have to report.
Very good. 8 is a resolution for circuit trail support for the greater Philadelphia region.
Yeah, so we also have Elaine Schaefer here with the School River Greenways tonight. And basically, I can kind of give a synopsis, and if you have anything you want to add, Elaine, or if there are any questions, maybe you can help counsel out with that. But the circuit trails are being prepared with assistance from DVRPC by the Circuit Trails Coalition, and they're requesting not just our municipality, but many of the municipalities across the region to support the plan for the circuit trails in our region. Basically, what this plan does is it envisions an interconnected system of multi-use trails in the Philadelphia metropolitan region, and this resolution would support advocacy for constructing 180 miles of missing trails that still exist in our region. Of particular interest to the borough is the missing Schuylkill River Trail link between the Crombie Station and Pottstown Borough, which is a priority segment for this plan. So at this time, I'd like to offer any other comments that Elaine might have on this plan.
Well, first, I brought some party favors. These are the new circuit maps that are hot off the press, and this is a map of the whole system as it exists now and as it's envisioned. So I'll just pass these around. Maybe you can take one and pass. So the circuit system is a coalition, as Justin said, of many, many groups and trails that are all working together to form an interconnected system. Eventually, it will be 800 miles of trails all connected in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Delaware. Right now, about 300 miles are built. This resolution is asking municipalities and counties to sign on board and say, yes, we support the effort to build 500 of those miles, so 200 more, before 2025. The resolution does not ask anybody to pay any money, to approve any plans. It's really a symbolic support that will show overwhelming support of all of the governmental units in the region, so that when these individual trail managers go to DVRPC for state and federal funding, they have this behind them, that this is a regional-wide effort to create this system. Right now, 86 different municipalities have already signed on, and 6 counties. So we're sort of down to the last few that haven't signed on yet. And we're here tonight to ask you to consider signing on. We would appreciate it. It does, there is strength in numbers when you're trying to compete for federal and state dollars. And the Schuylkill River Trail that we're all familiar with, and my organization builds and promotes and maintains, is one of the spine trails. So there are a few spine trails of the Circuit Coalition that are already well established and being built. And so we sit on the steering committee and we advocate for everyone else to get their funding so we can all be connected.
Very good.
Can I answer any questions about it, or? Just as an update so that everyone, because this is exciting for everyone, the 4-mile segment that is between Pottstown and Parkerford that once completed will make a complete off-road trail all the way from Pottstown to Philly. They have now announced, Chester County has just announced that that will be completed in 2020. They've gotten all of their approvals and their funding, and they will do design and engineering in 2019 and build it in 2020. So that will be a very exciting time for all of us to be connected directly to Philadelphia, and we'll increase the traffic a lot. Not car traffic, foot traffic, and bike traffic. Don't panic.
Oh.
And I believe the 422 bridge, which carries a portion of the Schuylkill River Trail to Pottstown, that should be completed sometime in 2019 as well.
Right.
From what I understand.
Right.
So, that all comes together quite nicely.
Yeah, and if you drive by that now, you can see. If you look over at the side, you can see where the bike path is on the new 422 bridge. They built it with it on it.
Okay,
All right? Thank you very much for your consideration.
very good. We'll list this for Monday evening.
Excellent, thank you.
Thank you. 9 is parking permits recommendation. Sir?
Okay.
When we turn the light on.
So, no, this should be all right. So if you recall, a while back, we formed a parking committee to look at various parking issues and trying to increase parking participation, convenience for businesses and customers, mostly focused around the downtown area. This committee was comprised of the former Police Chief Drumheller, Captain Thomas, Corporal Michael Long, who handles most of our traffic issues, as well as several business owners, including Adam Burke, our downtown manager Sheila Dugan, myself, Peggy Lee Clark, Bert Myers, and Deb Penrod, to kind of come up with a vision of what we wanted to do with parking going forward, trying to make it more easily accessible to both residents and visitors. So we engaged with Park Mobile for on-street parking areas, and we're in the process of setting up the zones for those right now. And one of the things that we kind of waited on a little bit, because we were waiting for some more information and feedback to come from the committee, is a recommendation on what to do with our borough parking lots. These are the off-street lots that exist in the borough downtown area. So right now, these are, you can park there and pay by a variety of methods. Some have electronic kiosks, and others still have the coin drop boxes, I believe. And those lots are the Reading lot, the Trinity lot, the Shop and Park, which is at the corner of Charlotte and High, the Lessing lot, and the King lot. It's actually a total of six lots altogether that we looked at under this study, all off-street parking lots. So what the parking committee found for off-street parking lots is that it appears that the lots are severely underutilized at the present time. And also the process is quite cumbersome if the business wants to go ahead and try and purchase a permit for one of these lots. What they would have to do is come to Borough Council and seek approval to get a designated parking space in a lot that they would like to park in. And many business owners have expressed that this just is kind of cumbersome for them. They're interested in purchasing the parking permits, but due to the time and effort it takes to gain the approval from council, a lot of them kind of just walk away from it. And also, council is put in a difficult position to make subjective decisions regarding who should be granted these permits, where these permits should be granted. And it also could create negative perception if a business comes in requesting a permit and council denies that business. Could create a negative public perception that, council doesn't like that business, but in reality, that's probably not the case. And then lastly, there's a lot of staff time and legal expenses that result from our current permitting system, which are done on a case-by-case basis, and they're all individual agreements that we have with these businesses, and they have to be periodically reviewed and renewed. So, what are the recommended fixes? The committee recommends allowing anyone to purchase an off-street parking permit. The Park Mobile app that we're under contract with right now does allow us to transfer and allows residents and businesses to purchase permits through the Park Mobile app. If you were not able to use the app for some reason, the police desk could assist you with that. Essentially, they would pull up the app and fill out your information for the parking permit. But we would expect that most people would use the app to apply for the parking permit, which would reduce a lot of the administration time that is involved on part of the police department. And because it would be going through Park Mobile, the permit would be linked to your license plate number, so we also would not have to print out a placard that you would have to hang in the window. So the off-street permit would be valid in any borough parking lot, any of the 6 that I mentioned previously. However, specific parking spaces will not be reserved or otherwise designated by pavement markings or signs, but permit holders will be guaranteed a space in any one of the 6 borough lots. And again, we have, if you think back on the map, we have 6 borough parking lots all within a 3 or 4 block radius. So if you were not able to find parking in one of the lots, you would be able to get that in the next lot over. And I think, again, that kind of reinforces the idea that we really want more people walking downtown, maybe stopping by our businesses or stopping by our restaurants on their way to and from their parking spaces. The how we would kind of gauge this, again, we don't think that we really have a parking problem now. There seems to be plenty of spaces, but what we would propose to do is monitor the number of permits that we were issuing, and if and when the permits issued exceeded 50% of the total spaces available in all of the lots, Pottstown Police Department or borough staff could provide a recommendation to council to cap the number of off-street permits that would be given out. Permits would allow for parking 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The residential parking permits in the Padita district would not change. And we're still looking at the pricing structure for this, but right now, permits are $30 a month. It's not gonna go up at all. If anything, it might go down a little bit because of the reduced administration time that would be involved with this. The other thing that's done right now is you can purchase a monthly permit, but we really don't, from what I understand, we really don't issue monthly permits that often because it just kind of becomes cumbersome administratively. So typically we'll only do like a 6-month permit or a year-long permit. While through the Park Mobile app, it would more easily allow people to just purchase a permit month by month, or if they purchased a 6-month permit, we could give a breakdown on that cost. If they got a year permit, we could give a further breakdown on that cost, maybe $5 off or $10 off for the full year. So we're recommending that council on Tuesday night authorizes the solicitor to work with staff to develop an ordinance under this framework, which would allow us to implement these changes in concert with rolling out Park Mobile on the on-street spaces over the next couple of months. Are there any questions?
So you said it costs $30 a month?
$30 a month right now for a business, a off-street parking permit.
And what do $30 go towards?
The $30 goes towards the parking fund. So it goes to maintain the parking lots if there's a pothole, or if it needs paving, if the light bulb is out, if it needs new signs. It also goes to pay for the salaries of our parking enforcement officers. We have 2 part-time parking enforcement officers, and it covers those positions as well.
Any other questions, concerns?
How would the system work for businesses?
So any business could either log on to the Park Mobile app and buy a permit, or go to the police desk and with their assistance buy a permit through Park Mobile through the business.
Okay, we'll list this for Monday evening. Thank you. Pottstown Municipal Airport event. We're going to close the runway.
Yeah, so this item is going to be tabled for now. We're still planning an event at the airport. It just looks like it's going to be pushed back a little bit later into the spring so that we have more time for coordination. I don't have a whole lot of information I can relay at this point, but it could shape up to be something pretty significant.
Great. 11 is Hobart's Run with the Hill School, their 5K race.
Yes, so they're requesting a 5K race, and this would be on April 28th between 9 and 10 a.m. There's a number of streets that would be impacted, but basically it would be within the Beach Street, Grant Street, Jefferson Street, Adams Street, Morris Street, Sheridan Street, Jackson Street, Henry Street, before connecting down into Beach Street. So essentially, they're running a course around the perimeter of the Hill School campus.
So there will be a lot of running up and downhill.
Near the
Yes, that's
hill.
implied.
Wow.
School.
Okay. All right, no questions. We'll list that for Monday evening. How about Sly Fox? Their 5K.
Yes, they're looking for a 5K race on January 1st from noon to 1:30 p.m.
Okay. No questions. We'll list that one. 13, 728 East High Street, parking lot improvements. Okay.
Yeah, I think council has in its packet a land development plan for the property at 728 East High Street. Essentially, what the owner wants to do is expand the existing parking lot, which is presently at the rear of the property. You should have in your packet a review letter from the borough engineer. It's dated October 11th. It appears that the applicant has satisfied the outstanding comments with respect to the land development plan. The only issue that really is for council to look at in this case concerns the fee in lieu of open space. Obviously, there's not open space to dedicate on this property to the borough. Under the subdivision and land development ordinance, the borough is entitled to a fee in lieu of open space if there's no land suitable for open space. Based upon the calculation and the redevelopment of the parcel, the applicant has calculated that a fee of $3,300 would be an appropriate fee given the small improvement or small addition to the parking area. So that was offered. The applicant understands they have to prepare and submit a cost estimate for a development agreement and financial security agreement prior to any improvements. And other than that, I don't think there's outstanding issues based upon the engineer letter.
And then the comments from planning?
The Planning Commission reviewed this early on in the process. I think they reviewed a prior plan. They had questions for the applicant with respect to the need of the additional parking. At that point, the Planning Commission recommended denial, but they've resubmitted a plan that now appears to comply with the borough ordinance, so that's where we sit. So unless there's questions, it can be listed for Tuesday. I think the applicant's here if there are any questions as well. So, anything I misstated, Mr. Brandt?
No, it's not perfect.
Okay. Any questions from council? All right, we'll list that. I'll correct it for Tuesday evening. We'll be meeting Tuesday. 14, Padita, ordinance amendment / extension.
Sure, I'm going to ask our solicitor just to give us a quick background on what the process is for adopting the ordinance, if you wish.
Sure. I think we've had these discussions before, and I know we've had them a number of times in prior years. Padita is an authority, much like the water authority or the sewer authority. They were created as a downtown improvement district authority by Borough Council in the late 1980s. When council created Padita as the authority, it included a sunset clause, which is not unusual, meaning that Padita has life for as long as council allows it to have life. Right now, the sunset clause for Padita Authority is December 31st of this year. So meaning, if you don't take action to extend Padita's life through an ordinance amendment, Padita would legally cease to exist as of the end of the year. I know Dan and other members have been on council for a while. In the past, there's been extensions for 4 years or 2 years. There's no magic number as to what the extension time should be. But if you want Padita to continue, it would need council action and an ordinance to be passed before the end of the year. The reason that's somewhat significant is that an authority like Padita requires approval of the membership of the area which comprises Padita. So when Padita was formed in the late 1980s, all of the members or property owners were basically surveyed or polled. You're required to do that by the Authorities Act for this type of authority, and a certain number had to agree to be part of this. At the time, I'm not sure if it was 2/3 or 3/4. It was a very close vote, but eventually it got approved. So if you didn't do anything and Padita ceased to exist, you couldn't just automatically start it up again next year or the following year. You would have to go through that same legal process in creating the boundaries, surveying the property owners based upon the assessed value or number, and go through that process, which would take a while. So you're here, we're getting close to the end of the year, and at some point, if you want to continue with the Padita, you're going to have to take action. I'm happy to answer any questions.
I don't remember the duration of the last time they extended it. 3 years? I don't remember.
I think the last time, Ryan, was a 2-year extension. Traditionally, before that, I believe it had usually been a 4-year extension. But again, there was never any real rhyme or reason as to what that number is. I think it was really based upon what the council wanted.
Is there a deadline? Because you said December 31st, so do we have like November 30th to make a decision? That's what I'm asking. I don't know.
The way the meetings line up, Trinita, unless there's a special meeting, on the meeting on Tuesday night, you would have to authorize the preparation and an advertisement of an ordinance so you could consider it in December, unless you want to have a special meeting at some point between now and the end of the year. So right now, with your meeting schedule, the deadline for something to happen would be Tuesday night.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Keller, would you like to add comment?
Yeah, sure. I think, there's been some good discussions going on regarding Padita lately, and I think they've all been in the interest of supporting business growth in the borough with improved coordination and efficient use of resources. The governing boards of PAID and Padita have been in discussions to formalize their already complementary relationships and collaborative working relationships. Ultimately, the specific of how this arrangement would take place would have to be worked out between the two governing boards. On Tuesday, it's hoped that council will authorize advertisement for renewal of Padita. In the meantime, the two boards will work towards developing a framework of an agreement to present before Borough Council when they make their final vote to reauthorize Padita at Council's December meeting. And there are some members of PAID and the Padita board here tonight who could briefly outline their vision for these entities going forward under one umbrella. So I think Bill Robertson and Pamela Gormish are here if you want to say a few words.
Excuse me. Sorry for the brace. It's part of soccer life. But thank you for listening to our comments tonight. I'm Bill Robertson. I've been a citizen of Pottstown since 2010 and really enjoy being on the Padita board. We've worked really hard as Padita has been a witness for the positive growth and improvements that Pottstown has seen these last few years. A lot more expectation is building for Perdita and what we can do to help Pottstown and the downtown district and the borough. And as that's happened, I think we found that PAID is a really great potential collaborator for us. There are ways for us to apply for grants together. There are administrative resources that we can combine. Checks and balances, because there have been some questions about some of the ways that Perdita has operated in its existence, and we want to make sure that there's a lot of transparency and that everyone understands exactly what's happening with Perdita, with PAID, with all of the authorities that are involved in the downtown. Camaraderie, there's a way for us to really help each other out, working potentially in the same office, sharing these resources like we talked about. And then membership. We have introduced a membership to raise additional gift revenue for Perdita by allowing businesses outside the downtown to pay a membership fee to benefit from some of the resources that Perdita has. And PAID actually could help us collaborate as we do, try to help them with businesses that are trying to target the downtown for industrial development that they're working with. We can do the same thing on the flip side. We have a 5-year strategic plan that we've been working hard on. We have a meeting on November 27th. It's open to the public. We invite everyone to come and be a part of that process. We have a dynamic board, especially with a couple of new members that are coming on. And we're just really excited to be a part of this process. And we hope that you'll approve this in the future. And we certainly would be happy to answer any questions that you have.
What time on the 27th and where?
Previously, we had the meeting at noon at the Perdita office, which is at 228 East High Street. So that's where it will be. We'll make sure to obviously communicate that per the bylaws publicly and get it out on social media as well so everybody knows about it.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else? Very good. Go ahead, Chuck.
Just so, whatever you decide Tuesday night, the motion would include for obviously the preparation and advertisement of the ordinance to extend the life. The other component would be the duration of the extension. So you would have to decide that when you make that motion.
Okay. Thanks. Thank you. We'll list that for Tuesday. 15, the amendment fee schedule resolution for water rates.
So this is an amendment to our fee schedule. As the Borough Authority has passed a rate increase to their residential and bulk water rates. I don't have those numbers in front of me tonight, but I can provide that on Tuesday.
Tuesday? Okay, do so. 16, the uniform bid awards. They're listed. They were in the packet.
We had 2 bidders. However, one of the bidders requested that we withdraw their bids, and after reviewing their application, Public Works is also recommending that bid be withdrawn and the uniform contract be awarded to Clemens Uniform as the lowest responsible bidder.
Very good. No questions? We'll list that for Tuesday. 17 is Harb, 262 Beach Street. Harb is requesting that we deny.
Yeah, this one is was a denial of replacement of an existing metal roof with asphalt shingles. Since the applicant was proposing only to replace a portion of the metal roof with asphalt shingles, the recommendation was to keep the roof materials consistent.
Good. Okay, we'll list that for Tuesday. 18 is Harb. These are administratively approved by our staff. 941 East High Street, 884 East High Street, 866 High Street. Okay, we'll list that. 19 board vacancies for Perdita. There are 2. And we have 3 who are interested. Steve Everett, Jennifer Keller-Ryan, and Channel Erasmus.
In the packet, I didn't see Steve's resume or application.
It didn't open?
All it was an email to Justin.
Yeah, that's
That's
what he,
it?
that's what he provided to us, yeah.
Nothing saying. Okay, I'm all for it. See?
Okay. So we'll list those for Tuesday. 20 is the 2019 budget review.
Okay.
We'll let Chuck explain the procedure.
Yeah, sure. Chuck, would you like to go over the process for adopting the budget, just to refresh everyone's memory?
Sure. The process isn't that complicated, but there are some time frames that you have to adhere to. The actual budget itself requires it to be available for public inspection, or at least the proposed budget, 10 days before you enact it. You're also required to place an ad in the newspaper to indicate that the budget has been prepared. The ad is to include anticipated revenues and expenditures for the next calendar year. The 10-day requirement would mean that if you don't take action, formal action on your meeting Tuesday night, you're not going to make that under your series of December meetings unless you have a special meeting between the November and December meeting, or you have a special meeting between your regular meeting in December and the end of the year. So you'd have to take some kind of action to authorize the advertisement of a proposed budget. Second component of the budget is the funding mechanism, which is the real estate tax ordinance. The real estate tax ordinance is set on an annual basis this year for next year. That's the millage rate that you set, whether it be general or special millages. Requirement is that that ordinance be advertised 7 days prior to adoption. Again, just based on your timing of the meetings, you would need to take action on Tuesday night to authorize the advertisement of that ordinance, depending upon what millage you set. You set the millage, it gets advertised. You can always decrease that millage, but you can't increase that millage. So we've been through that exercise before, where we look at what we think the worst-case scenario is, understanding that the actual rate can come down between meetings. So those are the two critical timeframes that you have to satisfy. And again, just based upon the way our meetings fall and those difference in dates, you'll have to do something Tuesday formally, unless you are inclined to have another meeting at some point.
So where we left off last time, we were looking at it, at the last meeting, we were looking at a total budget deficit of about $1,029,674. Since then, we've had a couple changes that have come in. We got the final assessment numbers from the county, which I explained earlier. The assessments did come down another $1 million, so that brings our revenue down across all the funds that are funded through millage. So that did change, add about 9,000 to the general fund deficit, and about 45,000 to the general fund deficit, roughly 5,000 to the Parks and Recreation budget, and the fire fund actually went down due to insurance rates that came in at 4%. We had originally budgeted 10%. So where we are at the end of the day, we're still with the total budget deficit of $1,043,286.81. So this would equate to a millage of 12.990. Total combined millage. We are waiting on a couple numbers that could come in between now and Tuesday night, which we think could actually change this for the better. We could actually be able to revise it down a little bit more. We're not sure exactly. We haven't vetted those numbers yet, but we're pretty confident that we'll be able to get it down a little bit more before Tuesday night.
Good.
Questions?
Okay, very done. We'll list this for Tuesday. And I just want to reiterate what our solicitor said. We, the borough, have been through this process often where we do go forward and approve a budget at this time, but we are not done working, and staff has not stopped working. If anything is approved, we can always go lower. Can't raise it, but we can always go lower. It happened last year. It's happened other years in the past. So, just so everyone understands how the procedure works. But we are under a time restraint.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate to everyone that we've really been trying to do our best, given the continued fight against these declining assessments that we have. You know, and really, this year, what hit us really hard, you know, if you remember last year was the hospital that hit us really hard, but this year was an increase in our minimum municipal obligation for our two pension funds of $1 million. That really kind of took us by surprise. We had a meeting the other day, yesterday, I guess it was, with the pension board, and it looks like that MMO is going to continue to go up next year. Not as much, but still a pretty significant amount. So the pension issues are things that we continue to grapple with. I think that we've been trying to do the best we can with the staff. Doing less with more, that's often said. You know, there were although we didn't have you know, any layoffs last year per se, there were some positions that we didn't fill through attrition. You know, the police are still down 2 civilian positions in their dispatch and processor. We didn't fill an assistant borough manager. So those are just 3 positions right there that we've done less with this year.
And I'll add, I did sit in that meeting with the actuary who explained to us the reason, one of the reasons for the increase is that I guess we're all entitled to better health care and it's working, and our retirees are living longer. So they will be drawing on that pension for additional years than what was calculated years ago. Okay, so we'll list this for Tuesday evening. How about comments from citizens present? Penny?
Guess I have to go.
Yeah, I know.
Go up and get it myself.
Yeah, that's okay.
Kenneth Yarder, please.
Good evening.
Good evening. I just came tonight to say a few words about the notice that was sent out with the water, sewer, and trash bills.
Okay.
I'm sure you all know about them because I'm sure it was approved by you to happen. I'm a little dismayed because living in Pottstown all my life, always been able to come to Borough Hall and pay your water bill. And now that's not going to be possible, except for a drop box in the police station. And I'd like to know just what's going on. You've already had it in the paper, you're raising water rates 5% a year for the next 3 years. Not everybody has a checking account. Some of the older people don't, I do, but not everybody has checking accounts. A lot of people don't have credit cards. So what are these people going to do? People don't always have the right change to put in an envelope to put with their bill to drop in a drop box. And when you get those payments in the drop box, who's going to process them? One of the girls up here? Okay, if she's going to process those out of the drop box, why can't she sit there and take the payments in the window? She's already going to be sitting there taking payments for permits. She's going to be taking payments to get large items picked up by the borough, and I don't know what other payments they may take there. So if she's going to be doing this anyway, why can't she sit there and take your water, sewer, and trash bill? And this mailing these payments all the way to Utah, you have to mail your payment halfway across the country for you to get it here. You mean you couldn't find a bank somewhere in Pottstown that so much per stub would take those payments for you? This seems ridiculous to me, but then I'm not in that department. I think for the handicapped, have you ever thought of putting a drop box where you can drive up to, so you don't have to get out in the inclement weather, and you don't have to walk up the sidewalk into the borough police department? I think a drop box by the curb somewhere would be good, but you're going to have to put it on some place where you can get it from the driver's side. We don't have bench seats in cars anymore, folks. You can't keep putting it up on the other side like the mailboxes. You can't get to them. What few mailboxes there are anymore, they're never on the right side of the street. So, and I was just wondering, since they're not going to do all this, are we losing any positions in the finance department then to make up for this lack of service that we're getting? That's all I have to say.
Okay. I'll just give one general answer. These changes were made to actually save costs to the borough. And I'll ask staff to address your questions and respond to you. We'll explain why everything was done. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yes, Jim Frymore.
Good evening, Council. I don't know where the year went so fast. It's time for Christmas already again. I just want you to know, and we are very blessed this year. We sort of knocked the cover off the ball. I was fortunate enough to meet up with two gentlemen, Johnny Corson, the president of NAACP, and Mr. Chuck, I call him because I don't want to mince his name up, from the Sunnybrook that is in the process of saving RY. And this year, he has kindly donated the Sunnybrook Ballroom for my kids' Christmas party that I've been doing for 35 years. We have this year 250 children, 90, 80, somewhere between 85, 90% are from this borough. Now, a few are outside of the borough, maybe South Pottstown or Spring City or something, but we have 250 children. And even though people think the economy is really good, right now I have 150 food baskets that were given out. And when the story hits the Mercury, I'm sure that I always get 20 more because county agencies turn people down, a cluster turns them down, you know, this person turns them down, and they see the story and they come to us. I'm very blessed this year, like I said, with the NAACP jumped on board, Sunnybrook Ballroom, the Comfort Inn, and of course, my retirement place, the UAW Dana Corporation, is a big part of this project. What we do during our holiday project on December the 15th, approximately 250 children in need will receive presents from Santa. The union is getting food from Hilltop. Hilltop got a letter and asked us if they could do something, and the union's going to pick up the food and the pizzas for us. The party starts at 11. If any of you would care to come, I think you're going to see what this borough, what this community is about. It's not because I run the project. It's because there are kids in our borough that are going to be sitting maybe in your chairs someday. I was fortunate enough, the Heart of God Church Family Worship Center, Pastor Linda, they're going to take 80 angels, and they guaranteed me 2 presents for each kid. Now we're hoping, on the back of your letter, you see where we have the angel trees. And Hobart's Run is another. Hobart's Run in the Hill School is also a big ploy. Miss Fisher, and with Hobart's Run, you can go down there to their office across from the Goodwill, pick up an angel if you'd like. if anybody wants to donate a gift card to Giant, you know what 170 baskets cost? It's ham, turkey, milk, eggs, bread, potatoes, cereal, cookies, tea, juice, you know, applesauce, cranberry sauce. Every basket's going to have this. Now, the Heart of God is donating some cereal. Mr. Chuck got 50 turkeys donated from Costco and some vegetables, and we're going to have to buy the rest of it. My mother-in-law, and she knows Mrs. Paez there, Rita, Julie Lanfear is my secretary and treasurer, and I have 3 other women on the committee. After this year, we're going to have a foundation. It's going to be called All About the Children. You can, you know, she will make you if you make a cash donation, she keeps track of everything. We have the places on the back where you can drop the food off, the people we want to thank, as you see some of the names on the back of it. I also want to thank the police chief is here tonight, Police Chief Mick. Johnny Corson went to him. They're going to, Pottstown Police is donating a bike. Spring City Police is donating 3 bikes. East Coventry is donating 2 bikes. And if you want to donate a door prize, it don't have to be a bike. It could be, back in the day when we were a little younger, they called them boom boxes then. But anything that, we have 250 children. We want to have some nice raffle prizes for the kids. The union's going to donate, I think, $300 worth of gift cards to Walmart. And you know, with 250 kids, wow. And we're talking about, you're probably looking at 500 people there. I have 3 ladies going to make the cupcakes, 500 cupcakes. But this party really expanded. And some of the places we're helping are, so you know, are the Olivet Boys and Girls Club. There's 20 food baskets there, and I think 30 or 40 children are coming to the party, thanks to Miss Fisher from the Hill School. We have the county, which has 20 families, some foster kids and kids that you know, parents might be in jail or whatever, and or with another family. We have the community. I have 35 names right now. The one lady that works at the Pottstown High School, her church, they have 20 families. And then Bright Hope up there, she got me 20 families at Bright Hope. So it all adds up. But the only thing I can say at the end of the day, it's not who does the job. It's remember, we're helping our kids in the community. And I just want to especially thank this council over the years. Steve Tironi, when he was president, he showed up every year, never missed a beat. The mayor showed up a couple times, but I'm asking you and I'm inviting you, if you want to come out and see something this year, come out and see this party, because these are kids that really need, and I can't do it without the community's help. And I've been a Pottstonian almost all my life except for a couple years. And I believe in us, and I just think that the job that Johnny Corson's doing with the NAACP, I think he does a great job, and he's really doing a great job with me on this project, because he feels like I do. What can we do to make our community a better place to be and help our kids? And again, I just want to thank you, and God bless you all, and God bless our veterans.
Well, publicly, as I did in the past, I want to thank you once again, Jim, for all that you do. It's amazing. Okay, councilors' comments. Councilor Proswell. Nothing. Councilor Philp. Nothing. Labedinsky. Councilor Paez.
This Saturday for 8 to 2, they're going to be a bazaar, food, and Christ Episcopal, 316 High Street.
Okay.
The big one.
Councilor Lindsay.
So I have a lot to say. So
Okay.
this may take till 10. So if you guys want to go, it's fine. I understand. So yeah, you may need that. So let me start off. I went to I had my tour myself, Justin, and Superintendent Rodriguez, and Mr. Armada. We toured the high school and Franklin Elementary School, and I was amazed with the high school. let me just first off say it was very clean, okay, in this high school, and I know they didn't clean it up just for my visit. I know they didn't do that just for me. The high school is clean, and they have text education in there, so you can get cosmetology, you can get woodwork, culinary. It was just amazing. I was amazed because I grew up in city schools, and they used to bus us. You know, you go to school half a day and then you take a bus, and here you just stay all in one school. And it was really nice. And I just looked at Stephen and said, well, why does Pottstown High School District get a bad rap? He said, you should see the middle school. The middle school is pretty too. So I'm gonna set up another tour with that. And it was an event. It was really nice. They also have a little shrine, a little alumni museum, if you will, there. That's nice too. And if you ever go on a tour with Stephen, make sure you wear some tennis shoes, because he had me. I was gonna say, shall I be cute and wear some heels? But no, I said, let me wear some low-heel shoes, because he had me run. I'm telling you, I lost like 10 pounds messing with him. Where had me running to that school? Jason could tell you, they was way in the back. I was trying to catch up with him, but anyway. I was at Edgewood Cemetery. I did that, did the cleanup. I seen Dan there, and Joe was there, and Mayor, she was there too. And I did the tasting with the carousel, and that was fun. I like going to the carousel. I like that. That was I had 6 different tasting from 6 different vendors. So that means there was an appetizer. Keeping this in mind, it was an appetizer, main course, and a dessert 6 times. Let that marinate 6 times. You guys, my stomach was killing me when I went. Just all the different foods, but it was good. It was good. And I do want to say thank you to the police and all the responders for the weather, because I was driving in it from Philadelphia. We took my husband's son, brother back to Philadelphia, and we was driving from where Pottstown Hospital and the Wawa. There was a river. It was water, like, and luckily I was driving my Nissan Murano, because if I was driving my Dodge Charger, it would have been some issues. But I drove and I rode right through it. But the water was just everywhere. But I seen the police, and everybody was out there. It was good. And there was a tree down in Beach, and that didn't last long, because they came out and did that. And I want to say a special shout out to all my ward came out to vote yesterday. I mean, I had a good turnout. It was great. I pushed the 1,000 voter. I was trying to get that 1,000 voter, and I said, I need one more voter, one more 1,000, and I ran them in. But we had a good turnout. Everything, and I want to congratulate Joe Cerruti for winning yesterday. So that's my event.
Okay. Thank you. That's from me. I too saw over 800 or 900 voters yesterday, and I have to reiterate, when Justin filled in for our mayor, I got the most and biggest compliments about what our public works staff, EMTs, firefighters, and police did during the storm. The people recognized everything that all of you did, and I want to thank all of you, the staff, the volunteers, everybody who participated in helping someone else during the storm. That's what makes this town so great. Thank you all. Meeting adjourned.